Okay. All right. Hi, guys. Happy Thursday. So, we're going to talk about some new things, some repetitive things. Um, but I'm hoping that after you either watch this recording or have attended live, maybe you have a better understanding on how to be profitable with flights. Okay. Now, when I'm talking about flights, I'm talking specifically flight only bookings, right? Because we all know that if you bundle or if you incorporate flights with a package or flights with a cruise, right? If you're bundling and doing those things, um, you're gonna have a commission already built into the package price, right? So I'm talking specifically flight only because obviously flight only, there's no commission there. Okay. So I know that everyone is different. Everyone may or may not incorporate flights as part of a service that they like to provide for their clients. And a lot of agents might feel like, well, I have my clients that end up booking their flights by themselves, so they can manage their own flights or they can troubleshoot all the things, right? Now, I hope that by coming to my classes on Thursdays and just from information that you learn here, that it makes you comfortable to accept those flight only bookings. It's okay if it's just a flight only, because it's going to give you experience, right? But flights are usually kind of that entry point for clients. A lot of times when you tell people that you're a travel agent, they may not necessarily jump right to the big 25th wedding anniversary trip that they're looking to do, right? A lot of times, especially for me when I first started, they're like, "Hey, I'm actually um this class Diana, nope, this class is not in Spanish." Um, a lot of at least for me, when I first started, a lot of people reached out for, "Hey, I'm just looking for flights, right? Can you help me?" And so, flights are a great entry point for clients. While they're not always going to give you commission, they're going to build that trust between you and the client. That trust then is going to lead to repeat bookings. And it's also going to allow you to potentially upgrade their flight experience, right? Offering them maybe some upgraded offers, higher paying type of things like seat selection or first class, business class, things like that. Okay, so flights is part of the travel experience, so don't immediately exclude yourself from managing or offering to manage your client's flight, even if they did not book the flights with you. Okay, because you're still coordinating everything else. You're doing the hotel, you're doing the transfers, right? So you still need to know the flight information, even if you were not the one that booked it. Okay, so where can we get commission from flights? Okay, so like I mentioned, you can commission will be built into pricing if you're bundling it with a cruise, if you're bundling it with a hotel. A lot of our cruise lines on the actual cruise portal will allow you to bundle airfare into the cruise pricing. Okay. And obviously they do have some things that are non-commissionable, right? But adding that on does also increase or boost that commission for you. Okay. So bundling with a hotel, bundling with a cruise, that's kind of where you're going to find commission from the bundles, right? Now, how do we actually earn commission or can we receive commission if we're just doing a flight only? Okay. Now, you have a few a few options here. Okay, let me pull up a empty browser and I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So as I'm kind of going through this, it's not meant to do like a deep dive into any of these sites. Okay. Um, this is strictly just to show you what you can use, what portals you can use to add on and build commission into your flight only. Okay. And if you need more direction or assistance in managing and how to register with these particular vendors, either you can reach out to me personally or there are also trainings on these particular vendors as well. Okay. So let me share my screen. Very first one, where can we build in commissions here? it's going to be on Vax. I like to show this one first because usually a lot of agents have access to this already, right? Even if you're someone that's new, maybe you've been here for a few months, you're going to have access to Vax, all right? And I'll show you quickly how you can add on a commissions or commission into flights, right? So we're going to make sure that we change this to a flight only. All right, you're going to select your supplier from this drop down, and then you're going to select flight only. All right, we're going to just do this is going to be quick because, again, I do have other suppliers I want to show you. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time in these portals. It's really just to show you how to add on commission. Okay. All right, so we're doing some random dates. So for those of you that are familiar with Vax, you can do bundle options, you can do flight, hotel, transfers, you can do activities, excursions, blah, blah, blah. You can also do flight only, okay? So let's select nonstop flights and let's do this very first one, JetBlue. We're going to do the blue fare because we don't like the blue basic, right? It's going to be very restrictive. All right, so we're going to select the return flight as well. Now that we have that set, okay, we're at the screen. You're going to click on Booking Administration. It's all the way down here to the right-hand side, directly underneath the green checkout button. Okay, when you click that, you're going to have a pop-up. Oops, sorry. Okay. This little pop-up is now going to give you the ability to add on a commission. Okay. You can add it on based on a dollar amount or percentage. This is where you're building it into the price. Okay. So this 873, let's say you are going to add on $100. Okay. We can set that and now $90 will be added on, okay? Because anytime that you add on a commission to Vax in particular, they will withhold 10%, okay? So if you want to make sure you get your commission is going to actually be what? Sorry, guys, give me one. All right, sorry. My dogs came in and they were getting into something they shouldn't have gotten into. Okay, so if you want to make sure then that your commission, meaning the commission that you're going to submit to Archer in the commissions tracking form is $100 even, like exactly $100, then you're going to just add on, see if it'll allow me to. All right, let's see. You might have to play with it a little bit, especially if you want it to be an exact amount that you're submitting for commission. Okay. There we go. Okay. So adding on $111.11 is going to allow you now that commission is going to be $100. Okay. Now, us as agents with Archer, right, we receive 80% of the commission that's listed. So then your commission, your takeaway from this would be $80. Okay. So again, you can play around with it. These add-ons and backs count towards the IATAN. Yes, absolutely, Jessica. They do count towards your IATAN because they are processed through Archer. We receive 80% of the commission. So that total does go towards your IATAN amount for the year. Okay. So that's how you would do it, right? Now, obviously, this is how you would do it in any case if you're using Vax, if you want to see what your commission is going to be, or if you want to adjust it at a certain percentage, whatever you want. Okay, so now we see that the total price has now been set an additional $100. Okay, or $111 in this case. Okay, so now the price has increased and the commission is built into the pricing. So there's no extra charges that you're charging your client. There's no processing on Square. There's nothing like that. So if you're someone that's more comfortable building it into the pricing, you can do this feature. Okay. Next supplier that allows us to do this as well is going to be Downtown Travel. Okay. Downtown Travel is another one of our wholesalers. Okay, so let's pull up that same flight itinerary just to kind of make it easy for two adults. Okay. All right. So let's see if we can just do nonstop here. This is, we're going to hide basic economy. So United, 7. Okay, we're just going to choose this one. Okay. All right. So um, now we're going to go all the way down. And we keep going, keep going, keep going. Here it is. Okay. So here on the left-hand side, you see how we now have a breakdown of the pricing, right? So maybe if you ever have a client that asks you for an itemized invoice, this is how it's broken down, okay? But the total price is 976 and 86 cents, okay? Or nine, yeah. And so downtown travel is going to have a ticketing fee of $10. Okay, that is essentially that's their fee. They have every right to charge a fee. Centrav does the same thing on some flight itineraries. So that is just their fee that they're charging, right? Now here you see where it says your profit counts, agent extra service fee slash discount. Now we can add on, let's see if it'll allow us to do $100. There we go. Okay, so it allowed us to add on the $100 profit if we were to do that for this particular client. Okay. So again, you're building it into the payment or the price. Okay. There is not going to be an additional charge through Square or anything like that. Okay. However, let me also be very clear. Downtown travel breaks it down very easy for you guys. Okay. So for example, we're going to skip check payment, right? Because we don't submit checks to anybody. We don't accept payments from our client and then we're the ones paying, right? Our clients are the one that are paying directly. Okay. So we're going to select this middle one here that says charge passenger CC credit card. Okay. Downtown Travel is telling us right off the bat that there is a merchant payment fee of $3.40. Okay, so that is why the pricing is going to be a little bit different than what we saw before because they're factoring in that merchant payment fee. Okay, and now there's also going to be an additional profit factored in because we're factoring in the $100 profit here. Okay, so we're then going to, it would then be the 1,080 and 26 cents. This is going to be gross. Net, there is no ticket fee from downtown travel and there's no profit from our end. Okay, so you always want to then just do the passenger price. Okay, so it's going to break it down here really nicely in terms of what the transactions are. So your client may have multiple transactions on their credit card statement, but their card is going to be charged once. Okay, you're not going to have to process their card multiple times. It's going to be one card transaction, but it's going to kind of itemize the transactions, right? So if you guys are familiar with ordering, if you guys, anybody here love Amazon, right? If you guys ever order multiple things, let's say you order 5 different things from Amazon, Amazon is going to charge you individually a lot of times on when those specific items are shipped and sent out to you. So it might be a grand total of $250, but every single one of those 5 items is going to have a different price. Okay. So it's kind of in that sense. All right. So next vendor, next supplier that offers or allows us to have access to commissionable flights and built-in pricing is going to be Centrav. Okay. I don't like talking too much about Centrav on our flights training because it's a vendor and supplier that's only available to US agents. Okay. It is not available to the international agents, to my knowledge. I haven't checked the last time I checked, I think was about a month ago, and it's still only active to the US agents. So I don't like talking about this too much because I know that we have a lot of international agents and I don't want to exclude anybody from having access to certain vendors. But for the purpose of today, I'm going to quickly walk you through how you build in a pricing and how there is commissionable fares on Centrav. Okay. If you guys need a deeper dive type of training on this platform, I do have a training on my YouTube. I can share it at the end for those of you that have never seen this platform before. Okay. So we're going to do from Newark, and let's say that we're going to do there we go. We're going to do Tokyo. We're going to do a little bit more of an extravagant type of flight search here. Okay. So Centrav allows you to build in a profit just like downtown travel does and just like Vax does. However, Centrav also has commissionable fares. Okay. So commissionable fares meaning there is a commission already built into the pricing. You don't need to add an additional uh, profit. Okay. So I was being very exaggerating with this flight itinerary. I did a business class from Newark to Tokyo, and this is about 3 weeks time. Okay. So now we can see we have a line item here of commissionable fares. And you can see what's in green is going to be the commission for that particular flight itinerary. Okay. Now, just take note, guys, for those of you that are interested in using Centrav as a supplier, commissionable fares are usually only available for international flights only. For domestic travel, domestic flights, you're not going to see commissionable fares. It's only for the international ones. So, like overseas, like Europe, Asia, things like that. Okay. So let's just take this first one just to make this fairly simple. Okay. We can see the total. This is, of course, a very extravagant type of price because it's an upgraded fare. It's a business class fare, or this is first class. I can't remember what I selected. Um, and we see here total commission, $380.80. It's built into the price. Okay. The commission down here, it's the pricing per adult. So it's a $95.20 per adult, and we have 4 adults here. Okay. So that's where that total commission price comes from. So let's just confirm this flight itinerary. Now, I might have to, let's see if it'll let me. Okay. So here it does allow you to change between the fares. So if we go down to premium economy, price goes less, but then obviously so does the commission. If we go down to economy, price goes down significantly, right? $15,000 less. And the commission is obviously significantly cheaper, right? Over $300 less. You can obviously play around with that. We'll keep it at the business, okay? I think it might require me to put these names in. So I'm going to just pick random people in the meeting, if that's okay, to add on to these tickets so I can show you how to add a commission. Okay. All right. Sounds good. So Zachary, I'm going to just do pretend birthdays. So if I'm off by your birthday, it is not, please do not come after me. All right. So we're just going to have, everybody's going to have the same birthday. We're going to do, all right, male. All right, Kimberly Green. Oh, I'm close, Zachary. That's cool. All right, let's see. We're gonna do Courtney Dobson, and then I'll just do myself. Whoa, that's not what I meant to put. Okay, there we go. All right, so we're gonna confirm dates. Again, guys, I have a whole oh shoot, I forgot something. I have a whole training on how to use this platform. So that's why I'm kind of going a little fast. It's just to show you how to add on the profit on Centrav. Okay. And that's correct. Kimberly, middle initials are not mandatory, um, or middle names are not mandatory or required for flight prices. Okay. So this flight has been reserved. All right. There's obviously payment that still needs to be made, but it's been reserved. So now if we scroll down, we can see a breakdown of every single one of us that are going to Tokyo. Okay. And we can see the breakdown per traveler, how much the airfare is, and also profit. Oh gosh. Okay, so I just booked this. I just booked it, right? And I already got a text message from United. You're subscribed to the United flights to Tokyo. That was really fast. Okay, so we have our flight information here. Now, this is where you see where it says profit. Okay. So we have our commission already listed and added and built into the price, right? So let's just say you guys are like, well, I don't know, I need to add an additional profit. Like these four adults here have just been making me change all these things. So I'm going to add on an additional profit for myself. Okay, cool. No problem. Right? So let's say you're going to add on an additional $100. Okay. Us adding on an additional $100 is obviously going to increase the profit per traveler an additional $100. So rather than the 95.20, it's going to be 195.20. Okay. Because again, on the left hand side, we are looking at per adult, and we have four in this itinerary. Okay. So if you want your total commission to be added on 100, then you would change that to 25. Okay, makes sense? You would do, it's a per traveler charge that you're adding on in here. All right, so let's just leave it at the $100 just to make it simple. And now on the right hand side, total profit, now we see the total commission that's built into the pricing, and now we see the additional $400 that you added on. Okay, so the total profit would be 780 and 80 cents. This is just for the flights. Okay, so just to show you a breakdown here. So Centrav, or actually, let me delete this really quick and I'll go back to it and I'll tell you why. So Centrav, when there is a commissionable fare, right? Prices are built into the price, right? So similar to VAX, similar to downtown travel, you're building it into the price, okay? There's no additional charge. It's just a flat price, one transaction, one charge to the client, the commission's built in. You still do your commission tracking form, you would receive 80% of the commission that's listed here, okay? Now, let's say I wanted to add the $100 now. I'm going to add it back and I'm going to show you what changes. Okay. What changes now, obviously, the profit of the commission increases, right? But so does the credit card payment. Now, rather than just one line item or transaction on their card, there will be two. Okay. So they will have the fare, the flight pricing charged, and they're gonna have a separate charge for those $400 that you added on. Okay. It does allow you to customize what those $400 will be actually listed as on your client's um, statement. Okay. I go in depth in that on the Centrav training, but just so you know, okay, this means that there's going to be two transactions. Now, let's say you're going to leave it that way. Centrav does give you the option to have a bundled credit card payment. So regardless if you added on those additional $400, they're still giving you the option to just have one credit card transaction. However, it comes at a cost. They're charging an additional 3.5% to the total sale. So this is going to increase the price by $720. it's not going to increase your commission, okay? It's just your client is gonna be paying $721 more for the convenience of multiple charges, okay? I very rarely, never do I offer this to my client. I just explain to them. That's why it's so important to be so forthcoming and transparent and honest with our clients. Hey, Sally, I got you this flight itinerary. She signs off on the pricing, right? However, just let her know, hey, Sally, just so you know, you're going to see two transactions on your statement. Okay, you're going to see a transaction for the flights and you're going to see a transaction for a service fee that was included, okay? Or however it is, however else that you're going to explain it to her. If she says, oh, well, why is there going to be two transactions? Why can't it just be one? Sure, Sally, I can do one transaction. However, it will be, this is the cost, right? So now you're offering it to her for the convenience for her to please her, but it's an additional 3.5%. Okay. All right. So that's how you would do that. Makes sense. If you guys need more in depth on Centrav, on downtown travel, on VAX, um, go to their respective trainings if you need more like walkthrough on how to do that. Okay. Now, when you and I'll go through your questions, guys, at the end so that way I can just go through the information. Um, so when we book flights for clients, right, um we can use any of those vendors. We can use Centrav, we can use Vax, we can use downtown travel, right? Or you can go directly to the airline and you can book directly to the airline, okay? Just go right to the source rather than going to like a third party or a mediator, okay? So I like to go a lot of times I like to book flight onlys directly through Evo Rewards, or I will do it directly with the airline, okay? So Evo rewards directly with the airline, there's no commission built in there, right? It's just a flat rate. If it's a $500 fare, it's a $500 fare. There's no profit for you. However, you can, if you guys feel comfortable, depending on what point you are in your confidence in terms of explaining a service fee, you can essentially charge or include a service fee for your time in managing that client's flight itinerary and for your research in or research time, research, planning, managing their flights, essentially. Okay, so you can charge a service fee. That service fee will essentially then be your profit. Okay. Because there's not going to be an additional profit built in anywhere if you're booking directly through the airline or if you're booking through Evo Rewards or Google Flights or Skyscanner, wherever. Okay. So just to kind of give you guys some ranges, if you're kind of wondering, well, how do I know what to charge? What's a good price point? You can break it up into whether if it's a domestic, whether if it's an international, or whether if it's a group. Okay. So for domestic, you can do anywhere from $25 to $40. You decide if you want that to be a per person charge or if you want that to just be a total charge. Okay. International travel can be anywhere from $50 to $100. Again, you can decide if that's a per person or a total charge. And then groups, I would recommend it to be a little bit higher, so 100 plus. Again, depending on the size of the group. Okay. Um, Now, again, that's entirely up to you. You don't have to incorporate or add on service fees for flight onlys. But if you are not going to use Centrav, Vax, or Downtown Travel to build in that profit, you would be receiving the 80% of that profit that we built in together. Then your alternative will be to use or incorporate a service fee, and that service fee is 100% yours. Okay, so you kind of decide, you can weigh out your options on how it is that you're going to present this or research for your client. Okay, now I personally don't do this because I know that the airlines have this already in place. But for those of you that know that have dealt with flights before, we know that flight or airlines have change fees, right? And their change fee might be set. It might be $50. It might be $100, depending on whatever airline it is that you're talking about here. Okay. So you as the travel agent or travel advisor can decide if you are going to include or have a change fee or cancellation fee. Okay. Again, that is all a personal preference. I personally do not, because I know that the change fees are going to be incurred anyway from the airline. Okay. Um, all right. There's some different ways that you guys can kind of upsell. Now, in terms of upsell, when you're like, for example, we can upsell with Centrav, right? It's not going to allow me to do it because I already went to the checkout screen. But you saw, remember, before I went to the checkout, it asked me if I wanted to stay at business, if I wanted to go down to premium economy and then economy, right? That's me upselling, right? And by me upselling, it now gives the client additional perks, gives them additional, baggage and priority boarding stuff like that, but also includes more of a commission on my end as well. Okay. Now, obviously, you can do that on a platform or vendor such as Centrav, because it's going to include the commissionable fares. Um, if you do an upsell type of situation using any of the other vendors like Vax or Downtown Travel, or if you're going directly to the airline, there's no commission built in there. You would have to build it in yourself. Or again, just doing the service fee separately. Okay. Um, Kind of back to what I said before, that flights are kind of that entry point for clients, right? Flights are going to give you that loyalty. Clients are going to trust you because you're managing, you're booking their flights. And obviously, as we know, flights can be scary, flights can be unpredictable. But if you are, kind of providing them that service that they know they can't get elsewhere because, or they're the ones that then have to uh, manage their flights or manage cancellations or things like that on their own, that's really going to set you apart. Okay. So be proactive when there are issues. Be proactive. So monitor delays, monitor cancellations, monitor any schedule changes, and stay one step ahead. Try to stay one step ahead so that way you can alert your clients, or when your clients tell you, you are not caught off guard. Like, oh, shoot, your flight was delayed? I had no idea, right? Also, if you can offer a little bit more of a personalization to your client's flight experience, so giving them advice on when to check in. Hey, you're traveling to Florida, you're flying to Florida. It's a domestic trip, so you want to aim to get to the airport about 2 hours prior to your flight, right? If it's an international trip, hey, you're flying to Paris, I you should get there about 3 hours before, right? So kind of giving them a little bit more of a personalized case by case situation. Offer them advice or give them the information on bags, what's included in their price, right? What's included, what should they expect to pay when they check in, meaning how much are bags going to cost? Are there any bags included? Do they have a checked bag? Do they have a carry-on included, a personal item, etc.? And then again, offer them advice and information on their layovers. So if they have a long layover and you see that now they have to go from one terminal to the next, maybe if maybe you have older clients, or maybe if you just want to just provide something a little bit more personalized, you can share with them a map of the airport and tell them, hey, you're going to land here. This is where your next one is. Here's some food options along the way. Here's some bathrooms. If you have moms that are traveling with kids, hey, these are the family restrooms. Here's the breastfeeding area, right? So yeah, is it some additional steps on your end as the travel agent? Absolutely. But you doing those little things that are going to help make your client's flight and travel experience so much easier and smoother is going to set and create that trust, that loyalty. They're going to want to come back. Hey, John, I know you booked my flights this time, but can you help me now with a cruise? Right? So again, sometimes clients are not going to immediately tell you that they want to book an extravagant 25-day extravaganza, right? Sometimes they just simply need flights. And if you can really hit it out of the park with just the flights, imagine how you're going to do that with something much bigger. Okay. Um, if you are going to be charging fees, obviously don't ever just tell your client, hey, I'm charging you a fee. Don't say I'm charging a fee, right? You want to explain what it is. What's your service? Lead with your service or your expertise. Let them know I do charge a professional planning fee, a professional service fee. This covers my professional time, monitoring your flights, comparing the flight itineraries, and 24/7 support. I handle everything, your changes, your seats, if there's delays or cancellations, so you don't have to stress, right? So when you present it that way, they understand then, okay, so this chick, she's not just booking my flights and just piecing out, right? She's actually here to help me with any questions that I have. She's actually here um letting me know, terminals changed, gates changed, whatever. Okay? Um Oh, thanks, Zachary. I'm glad this was helpful. Um, so that's usually now I do charge a fee. Personally, I do charge a fee for flight only and also for working together to plan a trip. Okay. My price for the fees are different if it's a flight only versus planning a trip. And I tell them, I have a conversation with them first. I get to know them first, get to know what their preferences are. And then from there, I go into, okay, how can we work together? All right, you want to work together? This is my process. This is my services. This is what I include. This is what I do for you. And for that, I do have a professional planning fee. And just I lay out literally everything I just said. It covers my time, monitoring your flights, recommending you the best properties, handling everything, all the logistics behind the scenes. So you're not the one having to call 1-800. I'm the one doing that for you. So you can then at least enjoy the vacation as best as you can, considering the circumstances. Okay. Um, any questions with what I went over today? Yes, you're right, Fern. I always actually tell my clients to download the airline apps if they're able to, um, if they're tech savvy, right? Because I do let them know, hey, your airline, if you're connected to the airline app, it's going to give you changes as well. But just because the airline app tells them and notifies them of changes, it doesn't mean that the airline app is also going to manage and navigate those changes for them, right? So if for whatever reason there's a layover involved and now their flight gets delayed and it's going to get into the layover, they're going to miss their connecting flight, that's where you come in. So you're right. There is a lot of technology out there that is essentially very helpful for us, but I don't rely on that essentially. I tell my clients have it, keep it there, so that way you know, but don't rely on it. What if you have repeat clients that you haven't charged a service fee before? How do you introduce that? So Jessica, if there's someone that I have not yet charged a fee for and they came back, I will tell them, and I'll obviously I personally would put this through ChatGPT to have it flow nicer, but I would say something along the lines like, hey, Sally, so since we actually last worked together, I did make some business process changes to the way that I work with clients. Okay. And with that being said, this is my services. This is everything that I offer you and that I do for you. And because of that, I do have a professional planning fee. So I would phrase it as I have made some changes to my business process. Um, Rather than just saying like I charge a fee. I have met elderly clients to show them how to use our app too. Yeah, that's awesome, Jessica. And just by you meeting with them, that kind of sets up that personalization, right? Especially if you are local to your clients, if you're able to meet with them in person, review their itinerary, go through what to expect, give them their travel documents. I have an older client. She lives about not even 10 minutes from me, and she requests her travel documents printed every time. So I print them out for her and I take them to her house. And even though she's local to me, I'm not going to mail it, right? I'll take the 5 minute drive or 7 minute drive to her house and drop it off. That personalization, it's just going to build that trust and that value. Um, are Mexico, Caribbean, South America? Yes, John. Yeah, that would be considered international. I haven't booked many of those destinations on Centrav, but with them being international, I would imagine there would be also that commissionable fare that you might see on there. How do you get notified of your customers' flight times or cancellations? Um, so Fern, so I am usually on the day of travel, I'm usually tracking my client's flight. So I have their flight pulled up. I use Flight Aware. And I will also pull up their flight. Like if I just go to like Google and I'll type in their flight number, the tracking information will come up for me. And I check that periodically. So I will check night before, I'll check day of, as they're at the airport. I make sure everything's still kind of on time. And I'm kind of like vigilant, glued to my phone. Or if you're someone that likes the computer better, I'm kind of glued to just refreshing and checking for updates, if there's any. I booked hotels for a client going to Tokyo through Eva Plus. They have just asked me if I can also book flights. Awesome, Anthony. First time sale for me, so any recommended suppliers to book a flight with, and do I require another credit card authorization form? So, yes, Anthony, you will need another credit card authorization form. So, credit card authorization will be issued out for those of you that don't know for any transaction, including if you charge a service fee, including if now in Anthony's case, he booked the flight, he booked the hotel, now you're doing the flights. Yes, because now you're going to be charging their card a separate time. So absolutely, you're going to want another credit card authorization form. For suppliers, are you US based, Anthony? Perfect. Centrav. I just did an example for from Newark to Tokyo, Centrav, there's commissionable fares. So you can have commission built into the pricing that way, or you can add on a service fee on Centrav if you wanted to. But compare your options. So I personally would go directly to Centrav first. That would be my first place to look. If I'm not a fan and I want to have another place to confirm, to check pricing, I will then check and compare pricing with Google Flights and also with Evo Rewards. One other supplier, guys, I actually forgot to mention that you can do flight only will be Expedia Tap. I forgot to show you guys that, which I can show you that in just a second. Let me, do you send notification to yourself? I know some apps allow you to get notified of a flight change. Yes, Fern. So if I'm booking flights for clients, I always have my email and I'll have my client's phone number. So my client will still receive either text notifications and also app notifications, but my email is the one that is on file. So all emails will come to me for schedule changes. And I typically have the airline apps on my phone downloaded because I fly with them too. So I can just quickly pull up the app, pull up the flight itinerary on there, and it will send me notifications of boarding time, changes, delays, things like that. Melissa, Flight Aware, it's not an app that I know of. It would be awesome if it was an app, but I don't think that it is. Let me double check. You can literally just go to Flight Aware. It's an app, guys. I had no idea that it was an app. I'm downloading it right now. Okay, cool. So it's an app. So if you're someone that's tech savvy, download the Flight Aware app. It's called Flight Aware Flight Tracker. Okay. It does say that there's in-app purchases. Hopefully it's not anything, I'm not going to pay for this app, but hopefully it allows you to still track your client's flight without having to pay anything. Um, but if for whatever reason it does and it limits your access on the app, you can just Google Flight Aware and it'll ask you for your client's flight information and it will pull up there. Do you know how to implement the client's Capital One points for travel? So Scarlett, if they have points that they're looking to redeem, that's going to be through their Capital One account. That's going to have to be something that they do. Unless, depending on the relationship that you have with your clients, unless if they are wanting to give you their Capital One login, you can then do it for them. But I don't do that. I think I have only ever done that once, and that was with like a family member. I don't ask my clients for their login information. So anytime if they tell me, hey, I have points, I want to redeem it for flights or something like that. Okay, Sally, so this is how you're going to do that. And I walk them through how to do it. So they will be the ones booking the flights, but you can still manage it. You can still manage the flights. You can then just ask them to send you the flight itinerary. Yeah, you definitely learn something new every day, Fern. Absolutely. Yes, Cynthia, I do use TravelJoy, and you're correct. It does track flights like Travify. It will have those live updates. All right, let me quickly show you guys Expedia Tap. I apologize. I forgot that that was, I don't use Expedia Tap too often, so I forget sometimes that that's an option for flights. Um, so let me show you really quick. Okay. You're literally just going to log in and hit flights. Okay. So let's do again, Newark. Let's do to Cancun again, and we'll do those same dates. 4/2. And you can obviously change the fare here on the right hand side. Okay. All right, so we're gonna do the blue fair. Nonstop, and we'll do this one. Okay. All right, so now that we're at the kind of pre-checkout area, it's going to kind of just give you a summary. We can hit checkout. Passenger information. You can see here, commission 0. Okay. So it doesn't allow you to add on a markup like some of the other ones. Expedia Tap will allow you to add a markup for other things that you're booking on their platform. So like hotels or packages, things like that. But for flight only, it does not allow you to. So in this case, if you do use Expedia Tap, you could either then just do the service fee. Okay. All right. YouTube. Yes, let me get that for you. Shoot, hold on one second, guys. Does anybody have any other questions? All right, there's my YouTube. Kimberly, what do you mean? Go with who? You're welcome, guys. Kimberly, if you're able to unmute so you can just explain your question.
Oh, I am being so silly. I totally forgot.
No worries.
No, I know some people do like the guided tours sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So then they go with their clients
Mm-hmm.
on a lot, depending on where they're going. Let's say they go to Italy and they want to do a tour of such sort. I know there are agents that actually do that as well. I
Right.
guess I was asking, do you?
Oh, if I do, no, no,
No,
personally, I have not done that.
just a travel agent. Okay.
Yeah.
Just asking.
You're welcome, guys. Okay, so I do have, if you guys wanted, just like a little, I kind of, when I went over the, service fees in terms of like just recommended where you can start off at, if you would like, I do have a little, kind of cheat sheet just to kind of I have it all outlined, literally everything that I said about the service fees, what you can charge depending on what type of ticket it is, different bundling options, upsell, and then just to kind of give you guys a uh what's it called? An example, right? Like if you only do, let's say you do 8 domestic flights and you're charging $35 for those flights for that service fee, that's an extra $280 in your pocket. So it kind of just gives you just like a visual so you can see. Because again, I know some people stray away from booking just flights, right? But you can be profitable with them. So I have to figure out how to add this in the chat. I have no idea how. I might just include it in the recording in my YouTube, which I probably will just do that. You can just get it from the description. But that's it, guys. I hope that this was helpful. I will see you next Thursday, same time. If you guys have any questions, you know where to find me. You can find me on Facebook. Have a great day, guys. Bye.